All right. Episode, I don't even know anymore.
I don't either, because it doesn't really count.
No. we don't. We've kind of stopped keeping track because we haven't been able to do it week by week, obviously. We've just been able to kind of do it whenever we can, and I think from now on we're going to try to do it just when we both get an off day together. So we're going to go ahead and say, even though it's kind of obvious that we're not going to be doing this weekly, so do not expect an episode every week. But as soon as myself and Ken get a day off together, we'll be able to record an episode for you guys. But so let's just go ahead and state the obvious. We just got back from Bristol. Was it 2 days ago?
Yes.
And my gosh, was that a blast.
My body's hurting, but yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can tell, but my throat and my voice is a little squeaky and gone still because Friday night, myself and another buddy, Jared, were just absolutely screaming songs at the top of our lungs, yelling and dancing and doing all kinds of dumb stuff.
A lot of Motley Crue.
A lot of Van Halen.
And a lot of dumb country music.
Yes, very dumb country music. So I'm going to be doing that a lot today, so if you'll excuse that. But yeah, as far as the race goes, though, I mean, it was awesome. I thought it was great storylines all the way around in all three races. I will say, though, the truck race got on my nerves a little bit.
Well, with all the wrecks?
No, not necessarily with all the wrecks, just the girls.
Yeah, that was...
I mean, because I'm all for...
It's not sexist if it's facts that they all three got dead last.
I am all for females getting into NASCAR, getting into the sport, racing if they can hang. They couldn't hang. The only reason Jennifer Jo Cobb finished where she did, which I think she finished like 24th.
Which was dead last, right?
No, dead last is like 33rd
but
or
I mean,
something.
As far as vehicle or cars that didn't get in wrecks and stuff like that.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. She's and that's what I was about to say. The only reason she actually finished that spot was because she didn't wreck. Yeah. But she got lapped. I'm telling you, whenever they threw the green flag out, within 4 or 5 laps, they were catching Jennifer Jo Cobb. So it's like it just looked like she was scared to go anywhere. And
there's no way the truck was that slow.
And then Natalie Decker, I think she's just too young. She's just still learning everything. Yes, she can race, I'm sure, but give her... I think they rushed her up to the truck series too quick. She's just stayed in K&N for a little while. But, I mean, she's good looking.
She didn't do so hot.
No, she did not. She did not do it. And I think that's what it is every single one of these girls that raced, they all have one thing in common, their looks.
Yeah.
I'm just stating the obvious. They all have one thing in common. Angela Ruck.
She didn't do very well either.
No, she didn't. But yeah, Natalie Decker, I think she spun twice, and then her car, I think something in her transmission broke, and she was stuck in like one gear. She couldn't get it out of the gear.
Then she spun a third time.
Yeah, then I don't know if you guys saw that, but the safety truck spun her out when he was trying to push her back to the garage, I guess. So. But yeah, just a terrible showing for the females. And I get it. Bristol is a very tough track. It's tough to learn because it's so small and so fast. And you have everyone else that's been doing this for a while just breathing down your neck like, come on, go. And then they're just flying around you. So I guess I understand because you throw me in a truck and I guarantee I'd do way worse than them right now. I guarantee I'd do way worse. So I can't really say that I'd do better. And I'm not saying that I would do better. But if I was racing as long as they had been racing, I'm sure I would do better. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, that was the only core I had to get that off my chest, and we might talk about that again here in a little bit. But for right now, we'll just go to our overall review of Bristol. So, as you guys know, we've told you before, we have bought this bus. It's a party bus. It is a 1991 International School bus that was transformed or converted into an RV. So it has a bathroom on it. It has, I think, 4 bunk beds, and then it's got these 2 big couches that fold together and make one giant bed. You could probably get 4 or 5 people on there. And it's got a camper table that folds down to a bed, so it's got a lot of space to sleep on, and that's really all you need. It's a little rough around the edges right now, but it's
got
exactly
a lot of
what
looks.
We need.
Got a lot of talk.
Oh man, that was the first thing I told my wife when I got back, because whenever we talked about buying this bus, she was like, "No, that's dumb. That's dumb. You shouldn't. That's just stupid. Who wants that?" Sure enough, every NASCAR fan ever wants it. And that's what I tried to tell her, but she just didn't understand.
Even driving home, because I didn't see anyone at night because I drove at night, but during the day, leaving or whatever, after I got done driving, just every car that passed was just like mesmerized.
Gawking at us, yeah. And then I can't tell you how many people stopped at our campsite and were like taking pictures. And
going down the slide.
If you guys looked at our Instagram or our Twitter, you saw our setup. We had a water slide on the back, coming off the back of the bus. and it goes into a big pool, and everyone loved it. And we had about 5 people, I think, 5 or 6 random people go down it. Which next year, hopefully, there's a few more. But we're trying to get a bunch of people to go down it, and it's just a blast, man. The setup, I think our setup is awesome. I love our setup.
We had a lot of people that said they'd go down it later and never came back, but I mean, people were constantly stopping and talking about it.
Exactly.
We just weren't in the right spot at our campground.
That's what I think. If we would get there maybe a little earlier, because they open that campground up Sunday.
Yeah.
They go from Sunday to the next Sundays when you have to leave. So it's literally 8 days, basically 7 nights that you can stay there. And so a lot of these people were there that Sunday. They stayed the whole week. They make it literally a week-long vacation. If we could do that, we would, but unfortunately, we just don't have the vacation, and I really don't want to spend that much vacation, even if I had it.
I mean, if I had an actual camper with good AC, maybe.
Right, yes, but I'm not going to go down there and sweat for my butt off.
Week.
Yeah, because like I said, this bus we have, it's really we love it, but it's not the Taj Mahal. Don't get me wrong, it's not the fanciest. It has one window unit in the back, but the bus is painted black for whatever reason, so it just absorbs every bit of sunlight. And then during the day, it's so hot in there. And at night, it cools down in the back of the bus, but the front of the bus where a couple of us slept, it doesn't get the coolest, but I was still comfortable. But one of the other guys that slept the farthest up said he was pretty hot all night.
Got pretty cold at night.
Yeah, well, you guys were sleeping in the back towards the...
I mean, like, just outside.
Oh, outside, yeah. It was.
Yeah,
I'd say it dropped down to probably mid to high 60s. I mean, it was nice, really nice. So, it was, I mean... Like I said, I love that bus. I wouldn't trade it for the world, though, because it's going to make our experience that much better. Because, like I said, it's got the deck on top, so you can walk up on top and look over everybody, and everyone's staring up at us like, oh, they can get on top of everything? Because you can get on top of a camper, but it's not meant for a bunch of people to stand up there. No. We literally have, 1/4-inch thick diamond plate steel up there that's, meant for people to get up there. And at one point, I think we probably had 10 people up there.
Yeah, with
just
chairs,
hanging out with chairs and music, all that kind of stuff. So
some creepy guy.
Yeah. Some people just creep me out, man. They do, and that guy was one of them. But,
we met a lot of cool people, though. Like our neighbors were from Ontario. We didn't really talk to them because they didn't speak any English.
They were French-Canadian.
Yeah, French-Canadian. And then we met a couple guys. Where were the other Canadians from?
I want to say, I thought they were from Ontario, too, but maybe they were from, like, Quebec or something like that.
I was thinking Quebec. I don't know.
I can't remember exactly. But they were pretty cool. But Team USA prevailed in beer pong, so I will say that. And then we met our neighbors that are across the street from us. I can't remember what that guy's name was.
Jan. I think his name was Jan.
Jan. He was super cool.
Wait. Are you talking about the ones that got on the bus? The tall, skinny guy and his wife?
Yes. No. Not
because
they were on the
Navy
backside of us.
Shirt guy?
No, not the guy that talked our ears off.
I don't know who you're
that had all the
talking
Jimmy
about.
Johnson stuff. The guy that he always wore a visor. I can't remember his name, but
the Denver guy, the Colorado,
so, maybe.
He had the Broncos shirt.
No, because those guys were from New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, those 3 guys were from New Jersey. But I mean, like I said, this is what we're saying. We can't remember their names exactly, but they were super cool. I mean, all really cool people. And then at night, we were up there partying, dancing, and singing, and going down the slide, and everyone was stopping by like, "Oh, we should do that. That's awesome." We're like, "You should go," and they're like, "Eh."
Yeah,
they kind of would say nah. But like I said, our setup is awesome, and I can't wait to go back and do it again next year. And we're also talking in the talks right now of possibly going to Talladega.
Yeah.
Camping on the infield of Talladega, which is a bucket list item. Ken and myself have been there 3 times now. So we know what Talladega, how the party can be on the outside. We want to know how it is on the inside.
True.
Because if anybody knows Talladega, they have a huge party on Friday night before of the race weekend where they have a bunch of drivers come out and go down it's a parade basically on Talladega Boulevard, which is a huge street, it's the old runway that was in Talladega Super Speedway.
Huh.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was an old runway. But anyways, yeah, they have a big party down there. They have barbecue pit wrestling, jello pool wrestling and stuff. I mean, it's just a bunch of different stuff, man. Different activities.
Never
and games.
Really understood the food.
I don't either, but
because
it is a little weird.
Someone was talking about chocolate pudding wrestling at Bristol, and I was like, that's gross.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but hey, it'd be cool. So, but yeah, going back to our bus, man, our setup, I can't praise it enough because it was just awesome.
She made it down there like a champ.
Yeah,
though. Like
she really did.
Hit like probably 35, 40 mile an hour a few times going up the mountains, but we went late at night, so
yeah,
we passed one vehicle.
One vehicle on the way, and we got passed by about 1,000. Probably.
Oh, way more than that.
Yeah. So yes, as Ken said, we got to about 35 mile an hour a couple times going up hills through. It was right there by what was that?
Right outside of
Jellicoe, Tennessee.
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
Something like that, Jellicoe, Kentucky, or Tennessee.
Oh yeah. That's right.
But because you have to go up, that's the biggest mountain we went up, and it was like a 3 or 4, or it was a
7.
I think it was 5 miles or 7 miles, and you climbed like 1,400 feet or something. It was something crazy like that. So it was like the whole time, you were basically climbing. It's just a matter of you were climbing, 7% at one point, and then 3%, and then 2%, and then it's 8%. So it was quite the climb. And I think that was the only hill we had to drop a gear on because we were in fifth the whole time. We could chug a lug up, but
I know when I drove back, I dropped gears a few times.
Well, we also ran into some traffic
Yeah.
in the mountains too, so we were
so.
In and out of the clutch a lot. Which you got to do that. Which Ken, thank you a lot for driving a lot. You drove I think a total of probably 8 hours or something.
Yeah, no, I drove more than that because I think I drove at least 5 hours
there.
On the way. No, I drove 4 hours there to Lexington, and then on the way back I drove from Bristol to Lexington, so that was probably 5 or 6 hours.
Okay, then I'll say you drove 10 to 12 hours.
Yeah, it was fun.
Whereas I only drove about 4, I think, and then Kurt and Craig I think split up about 4 or 5 between themselves. So because Ken drove like you said from Bristol to Lexington, then I drove from Lexington home on Sunday. Which at first I got really tired. As soon as I took the wheel, I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" Now I'm really tired. I should have taken a nap while I could have, but I had a buddy come up. Jared came up and talked to me, and I had my Pepsi. And I was good to go, man. I was ready to roll, so I made it home just fine.
Now the ride back was a little different.
Yes. So on our way back, we got to. I think we were probably
we weren't even that far
an hour into it, 2 hours into it, and we heard some really loud thuds. Yeah, on the bottom of our bus.
It was real quick and quit.
Yeah. What the hell was that? So we were like, oh, well, if it'll do it again if it's something that we need to know about. And then a little while later, sure enough, again. So we're like, okay, we got to stop and check it out. So we got out of the bus. We pulled over on the side of the interstate, got out of the bus and looked at it. Our inside passenger side tire on the rear had lost its middle tread because when we bought the bus, the guy we bought it from said,
new rubber.
Yeah, new rubber. It's got new rubber on it, new rubber. And we're thinking, okay, new tires. And we thought about it. You can retread semi-tires. And so he retreaded these semi-tires. And, that tire just apparently got retreaded really, really horribly. And the middle tread had completely been thrown off of it.
Yeah.
So we had no middle tread. We just had the 2 outside treads. But the rest of the way, it made it just fine.
We thought it was a ticking time bomb.
When I was driving, they said, it's about to blow, man. There's some loud noise. Yeah, there's some loud noises down there. It's about to go. And I was like, oh, boy, here we go. Of course, now that I'm driving, stuff always breaks on me. For whatever reason, stuff always breaks for me. And but it didn't. It didn't, thank God. But I will say what did happen when we got about an hour away from the house, we hit a huge storm.
Dude, there must have been like a freaking tornado come through our town.
Yeah.
There was so many limbs everywhere.
My yard is still covered in branches.
Same.
And I picked up the branches yesterday, but they're covered in leaves. It just looks like a bomb went off. And my patio furniture had blown everywhere. It was pretty wild, but thank God nothing actually happened damaging to the house that we know of yet, and no one else around us got damaged. So that was always good. But driving that bus and that 60 mile an hour gusts, I'm sure they were pretty high. I was all over the road, so it was pretty gnarly. But like I said, we made it. We're good, and we're ready to take it on next year. So let's talk about the atmosphere of Bristol. So now we've both camped. Well, actually, all of us have camped at 2 different campgrounds now down there. Really, me and Ken, 3.
3, yeah.
Which campground have you liked the most so far?
I still think Bristol Campground because they have. I mean, the location isn't as good, but they have that. Well, I guess technically no. This year's probably better because I was gonna say Bristol Campground's got a concert, but the main concert was literally like a 2-minute walk from our camp.
Yeah, we could. I mean, we could hear it clear as day. The concert,
but it was big and rich.
When we were sitting on top of our bus on Thursday night. Was Thursday night? Yeah, Thursday night. Big and Rich played, and first off, I mean, I like country music, but I don't think Big and Rich is country music.
And they didn't even play more than like
they played 2 of their own songs. I mean, they had to play "Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy," and then that new one that's been on the radio. I don't even remember what it's called.
They have a new song.
Well, it's not really new. It's probably the past 2 or 3 years, 4 years or so. It's their newest song, I'm sure.
But everyone kept saying all they did was like talk the whole time.
Played covers and talked. So it's like we kind of figured that. That's why we didn't go because we don't like Big and Rich. So we kind of skipped out on it. But everyone else went and they said it sucked. So we were like, yep, told you. So we were sitting back there drinking beer, which, yeah, they got to go listen to some music while we just did the same thing and drank beer at the camper. But, I mean, we got to sit on top and, shoot the crap and have a good time up there. But
beer pong.
Yeah, I personally like the camp spot we had this year more than the rest because, as I don't know, I'm sure we've talked about it on here, but last year we were literally on probably 11% hill the entire time. I mean, I broke my brother's cot.
Yeah, you had to lay with your head facing uphill because if you lay on your side, you're rolling the whole time.
Yeah,
it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, or if you laid with your head down, you'd probably have a blood rush into your head.
You'd probably die.
It was that bad, but I like this campground because of the party atmosphere. There was a lot more people, and last year was cool because we kind of had it to ourselves.
Have we even said the name? It's Earhart. I don't know.
Earhart. Yeah, the Earhart campground. Actually, we were on their Facebook. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I guarantee.
They posted a picture of our setup. Yeah, they posted a picture of our setup on Facebook. So if you guys go check out their Facebook, really my Facebook too, you could see that. I shared that picture. So, but yeah, the campground this year was way better because we just were around more people and we got to talk to more people and we got to party a little more because last year, we got to party, but we were kind of by ourselves.
We had a shower house this year.
Yeah, we had a shower house this year, which was awesome. And next year, I think I'm going to do the $20 buy all day showers and just, take probably 2 showers a day so I can get my money's worth. But, I like this year's campground more just because, like I said, it was just more of a friendly atmosphere, whereas the last one was just like, I want to stay away from everybody is what it felt like.
And you were literally right where everything is at the track as far as the Toyota stuff and the tents,
literally, except
for the other side of the track. But compared to last year, you were walking either way if
right.
you were there.
So this year, we could probably get in our seats. We could literally walk from our RV to our seats, and I'm talking going through gates. Well, that's a whole other story. But if going through gates and everything, we could be in our seats in probably 30 minutes, no problem. Whereas last year, walking from where we walked, going through gates and all that stuff, it probably took us about 45 minutes to an hour to get to our seats. But this year, talking about, since we're on the topic of going through the gates and stuff, I don't know. I guess Bristol did a remodel earlier this year because I guess it was after the spring race. That's what Randy and Paul and all them said, that those seats were not like that after the spring race. So they did a remodel.
Took out half the
seats.
Took
out a lot of seats in our specific section. I'm sure some other sections. So now, instead of having just a bunch of bleacher seats or rows, they took out every other row, all the even rows. So the even row of bleachers now became like a little tabletop you could set stuff on. So it's really cool. I really like it because we could lay our stuff up there.
It's obviously because it's filling the gaps.
Yeah, because it used to be able to hold 160,000. Now it can only hold probably like 150 or 145 or something. But still, if we could get back to that capacity, that'd be fantastic. But anyways, so we're walking up to the gate. We go to scan our tickets, and this is Friday night at the Xfinity race because Thursday night truck tickets you buy at the gate. So we have our tickets that we had pre-ordered months ago, like literally the day after the race. Our buddy Ryan, who's in charge of all this, had ordered them. It had been literally a year. So we go up to the gate. They scan our tickets. It comes up as a red X, like that dreaded sound, because every time you hand someone a ticket, and you're like, I really hope it does the sound it's supposed to do. Lars didn't the first time, and I'm like, they scanned it wrong. Does it again, same thing.
Switch tickets, still wrong.
Switch tickets. All of our tickets came up like that. And then they were like, kind of fumbling around themselves, like, what do we do? And then they just said, just go ahead and go because it's the Xfinity race. It's not like there's going to be a crap ton of people there.
It's not like you're going to be fighting for a seat.
Exactly. So they just let us in. We walked up to our seats, and we didn't even sit in our normal seats. We just sat a little higher up because we just tried to find the biggest open area we could for all of us to get in, which is really easy. So didn't think much of it. Went back Saturday night for the Cup race. Same thing. We got to the gate. Tickets did not go through. Red X on the little electronic scanner. Guy did it a couple times, and he's like, you guys are going to have to go back down to the ticket booth. And I'm like, this happened last night. He's like, yeah, well, last night we let you guys in or let everybody in because of this reason. But there's a lot of counterfeits out there now, so we're sending people back to the ticket booth. And we're like, hold on. We bought these tickets from Bristol.
We had the envelope.
We had the envelope. It came in with all like the little promo pamphlets and stuff. We had a email, a confirmation email. We had everything. And the guy was just like, "No, you got to go down there because there's a lot of counterfeits." I'm like, dude, this is not a counterfeit ticket. If it is, y'all gave it to us. So let us, we're getting pretty pissed off at this point because we're like, we bought this from you guys. This is
10 minutes before the race
not
starts.
even. They'd already done driver introductions and the national anthem and everything. We missed all that stuff. We missed the flyover. We missed everything, which is not the end of the world, but that's one of the cool things about going to races, the national anthem and flyover. So we go down to the ticket booth and we're talking to this lady and she's like, she asked actually a sheriff's deputy that was working security there for that county. She goes, hey, can you take these gentlemen up there? Go to that gate, go to that guy and say they're good to go.
Yeah, they're real
tickets.
tickets.
Tell them I verified them. They're real tickets. They bought them from us. So he takes us up there, and we still stand up for probably 20 minutes.
It's a freaking climb to get back up there.
It is. It's on a pretty good-sized hill.
Yeah.
So we get up there, and the sheriff's deputy's like, lady down there at the ticket booth said to let him in. These tickets are good. And he goes, who? The head lady down there, she's kind of short and blonde. I don't know who that is. So the guy's just being...
We have the law with us.
Yes. He's doing his job, yes. But at the same time, he's being an asshole. So it kind of sucked. But he
even said, he's like, these tickets, they're not counterfeit, I'm pretty sure, because like the counterfeit ones are a lot thinner and it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
And I was like, then let us in,
Yeah.
dude.
And then he goes, and then eventually he just stops and said, okay, let me tell you what. I'll let you guys in. I took pictures of the tickets. We're getting someone down here to verify it so that way you guys don't miss much of the race. We're like, thank you. So he lets us in. We go to our seats. Never hear from anybody ever again because our tickets were real.
We get to our seats and there's people in our seats.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was another thing. Yeah. There were some people in our seats, and they were like, "Oh, we got the same ticket." And I'm like, "No, they don't. I don't think that happened. That very rarely happens. I'm sure that they print out more than the same ticket. More of the same ticket." So he looks at his tickets, and I'm like, "You're seat 12 and 13," and he's sitting in seat like 15 because there's people on the left side of us and people on the right side of us, and I'm like, you're in the wrong seats. And he's like, well, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, you're in the wrong seats. Yeah. Your seats are right there. You just have to move to them. You have to sit by people. I'm sorry. We're going to be sitting on this other side of you. And then eventually he got up, moved down, and I think he was a little upset about it, but whatever. Yeah. He was in the wrong seats. And then eventually, like probably by lap 100, he got up and walked off with his wife. They went somewhere else, I guess.
When we were sitting there or arguing with the guy that I think a guy was from Australia. That guy in the red shirt, bald-headed, came up to me. He's like, look, this happened, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I don't care. Like, that's not my problem. He's like, it happened to all of us. You have to sit wherever you want. I was like, no, that's not my problem. These are our seats.
Yeah.
Like, get out of here.
Yeah, yeah. These are our seats.
And he was like, whatever. Like, he had nothing to do with it, but
yeah,
he was trying to tell me it was no big deal, and it was.
Yeah. Like,
look, and plus, with them taking the seats out, we didn't get to sit as a group. So we all sat like 20 feet apart.
Yeah, it really sucked. But I think we'll figure that out now, and we'll try to be able to change that up a little bit this year. That way we can actually be able to kind of talk to each other instead of sitting what feels like forever away. But all in all, though, still, even with all that, good race experience. I enjoyed it as usual. Party atmosphere was great. Races were pretty darn good, especially the Cup race. And the truck race was even really good.
Yeah,
next
the
to
truck race was awesome.
Females not doing anything. But yeah, it was a great weekend. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I cannot wait to go back next year. I cannot wait. It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, the only thing that happened at the campground that was negative was we dumped our swimming pool because it was gross. It was full of nasty water that we'd been in all week. You know, so anyway, we dumped that, and I guess it like soaked some guy's outdoor carpet like 2 trailers down, 2 campers down, and he was not happy with us.
No, he wanted to throw it away, so he was like winded up. He like balled it up and threw it like he was trying to throw it away. So we're like, okay. So we took it, we set it on top of our deck of our RV to let it dry out, and now we have a outdoor carpet. So
it was a win-win.
Yeah, he's got mad, and Ken was the mediator here because he went up and said, look, man, it's not stupidity, it's ignorance, or it's not, we didn't mean to do it.
He kept saying that we were disrespecting him, and I was like, it's not disrespect, it's ignorance. Like, we had no intent of soaking
it's not
the
like
carpet.
it's not like we purposely did that.
Especially like how far away that was, and it was on a downhill more towards the road. Plus, I thought the ground would absorb all that. So
but I guess it didn't.
Good thing we dumped a small pool.
Yeah.
When did we dump the big pool?
The next morning.
I must have been in the shower or something.
We dumped the big pool the next morning, but we dumped it. Because the other one, Kyle had dumped literally like towards his trailer, and again, it was like two spots away, so you still wouldn't think it'd make it that far because it wasn't that big of a pool. But the bigger one we had, I ended up stepping on the opposite side or the opposite corner that was towards the road, so that way it would drain out and towards the road. But I mean, we didn't hear anything else about it after that, so I don't know. Just some people, whatever. But this guy was also probably like 65 years old, just a crabby old man. So
I'm sure our other neighbors hated us, but we couldn't understand what they're saying. So.
Right. Yeah. So who cares?
It was funny because like we're out there drinking beer, playing beer pong up on top of this bus, and they're out on this nice outdoor carpet drinking wine out of these wine glasses and stuff.
They literally had like champagne glasses, and she was reading her book,
and stuff every
oh
morning.
man, it was. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, guys. Like if you. I don't. Yeah, they were already there when we moved in. We're just like, sorry, guys. We're a bunch of young guys. I hate to do it to you, but we're here to have a good time.
Yeah.
So,
they were good sports.
Yeah. Oh man, but yeah, like I said, all in all, I enjoyed this campground this weekend. I mean, it was nice because last year, you and I, Ken, only got to go down there. We went down there. Was it Thursday night? Missed the truck race and got there early Friday morning. And then got to go to the Xfinity race and Cup race. But yeah, we got to go to all three. And
it rained the whole time.
Yeah. I will say, though, did you get to sleep at all? How much did you sleep on the way down there? After you got done driving, of course.
Maybe an hour. I laid there for a long time, but it wasn't really that easy to fall asleep. Same with, I didn't sleep at all on the way back.
Yeah, I think on the way down there, I probably didn't sleep. I definitely didn't sleep over an hour, and I don't even know if I slept that much. I probably slept half an hour, 45 minutes, because I was in and out all the time, just laying down. And I was comfy-ish. It was just like the noise and the moving.
Being paranoid you're going to die.
Yeah, exactly. Being paranoid that you're going to hit a freaking tree or something.
Or go off a mountainside.
Yeah. Lose all power and roll backwards on a hill. You just don't know, and that's what you're thinking of. So, on the way down there, I didn't get to sleep worth a lick. And then we got there at like 9 o'clock in the morning, got set up. And then we kind of hung out, started drinking a little bit. And then I was like, I have to take a nap if I'm going to survive tonight. So I took about I'd say 2 hour nap. I don't know how long it was, but I woke up. And like I said, it was during the day. And the bus is black, so it was super hot.
Yeah, I
covered
passed out
in
in
sweat.
The chair outside.
Yeah, covered in sweat. I mean, it was disgusting.
Fell asleep in the shade, woke up in the sun.
Yeah. So took a quick nap. And that got me through the night. We still got home Thursday night from the truck race, and I was tired. So that's when they stopped by the concert, and me and Ken just went back and hung out. And
Dude,
chilled.
I had the worst migraine the next day for like a solid 4 hours. I slammed like 6 bottles of water. Finally went away. But
yeah, it was quite the evening that night. Like I said, I was just really tired, and got up the next day. Friday was a big day. Friday was the party day for everybody. We stayed up to about 3:30 in the morning playing beer pong with some Canadians. So, good time. But
and they left their George Dickel on the bus.
Oh, yeah, their whiskey.
It is now at my house.
Yep. We now have.
Met a couple puppies, too.
Oh, yeah. There's this
Willie.
black lab that was so cute. Her name was Dega, too.
Yeah.
So, she was adorbs. Makes me want another dog, but I don't think Mila would appreciate that very much. So I guess we can actually get into talking about the actual race now. So I won't get into too much of the truck and Xfinity race. Truck race was won by Brett Moffitt. It was the opening race for the Chase, or their playoffs. Yeah, the truck playoffs. And that dude won last year, the championship, and he's pretty well, it sounds like he's been dominating this year. So sounds like he's well on his way to another championship.
Reddick won the Xfinity, right?
Huh?
Did Reddick win?
Yes, Tyler Reddick won the Xfinity. Which is kind of crazy because Moffitt and Reddick both won championships in truck and Xfinity, respectively, and they both won the race, the truck and Xfinity race, Thursday and Friday night. But the craziest part about the Xfinity race is Tyler Reddick came from dead last to win it because he'd failed the inspection four times. He failed a pre-race inspection 4 times. That's crazy. I'm surprised he even got to race. I mean, not really, just, whatever. But yeah, I think some people got suspended off of his team, or, his race engineer, or car engineer, or whatever it was, couldn't stay. But yeah, he ended up coming from behind to win it. And I think it was only because
Kyle
Busch had some engine failure or some car problems. And then Joey Logano and Christopher Bell got into an accident. Eric Jones got into an accident. So all the big heavy hitters in the Xfinity Series, including the Cup guys that were racing Friday night, they got into accidents or had something happen. So not exact. Oh, well, I guess, yeah, and Justin Allgaier, he had a great car too. And I thought,
he blew it
as soon as Kyle Busch was out, I was like, oh, it's Allgaier's race to lose. And sure enough, he lost it.
He's probably my favorite Xfinity driver.
Yeah. But good race, though. It just, I don't think Reddick would have won had any of those guys not wrecked out.
Real quick with the truck race, we were at our camper or bus the next day after the truck race, obviously, and Grant Infinger drove by and he kind of hung out with us for a couple minutes and signed some stuff for us. And
that's really cool.
The generator we had was a Champion generator, which he's sponsored by them, so he thanked us for that. And I got to shake his hand and all that. It was pretty sweet.
We got an autographed picture from him in our bus now. They gave us a flag, and I went up there and hung the flag. And they said we had a lot of people say that they're like Bristol media personnel, photographers. Their photographer, they took pictures of us, and they took a picture of me going down the slide with that flag, and said they were going to post it, but we haven't seen anything. The only thing I've seen is Earhart Campground posting a picture of us, our setup. I think they will eventually, possibly. So just kind of keep an eye on that. But yeah, it was still a really cool experience to meet like a race car driver like that, especially a guy that's in the playoff. Yeah, that's doing very well. I think he's 5th or 4th in the standings. So
he got 5th at the race.
He had a pretty solid performance there. So the other night. So I mean, he's looking pretty good, and it was really cool to meet him. And I don't really remember much of meeting him. I do remember him being there, because I went up to him and I said, "Hey, you look like the guy in charge here." I looked over because all of his, the people that were on like the 2 golf carts, there's probably 8 or 9 other people standing over there walking around with them. And I was like, "Which one of these guys do you want to go down the slide?" And he goes, "The guy in the blue that was just staring directly at me." And he was also the guy when they were across the way. We were up on top. Like I said, Jared and I were just belting and singing and going crazy. And he was just staring up at me, laughing his butt off. And I'm like singing, pointing at him and dancing and all that stuff. And he's just laughing. So when they came back around, I asked him, "Hey, you look like you're in charge. Which one, which one you got? Do you want to go down the slide?" He said the guy in the blue, the guy I'd been singing to earlier. And I looked at him, I was like, "Come on, come on." And he
said later.
He said later. I'll come back later, which we knew exactly what that meant. We learned pretty quick what "I'll come by later" meant that it was never going to happen. So to all you people that go to races out there, if you say it, you better mean it.
Yeah.
You better mean it, because if we say it, we mean it. So, as G-Eazy said.
Hey, Canada came by later.
Yeah, Canada did. You're right. So, but yeah, I guess we can start talking about the Cup race, though. So, pretty obvious. Well, I mean, the cat's been let out of the bag already, but Matt Dibenedetto, career best finish in 2nd place, just got beat out. Yeah. Just got beat out by Denny Hamlin, Denny Hamlin, I think, had the best car. Because it was clear he had the best car, and he was just on rails the whole time. And
dude, he came out of nowhere though. Like when Matt was leading all those laps or whatever, and I knew that.
I saw it coming.
I saw Brad and Chase fighting for 2nd and 3rd,
and then here comes Denny.
And then they kept showing Denny on the screen. I'm like, why? And I was like, he's in 2nd. Holy crap! Where'd he come from?
I saw that coming because first off, I mean, you don't start on the pole and not have a fast race car unless you're Austin Dillon. So. Well, in his case, you start on the pole, you wreck, and then you're out. So
dude, their goal, though, for this year was to have fast qualifying cars. So
who's?
Austin Dillon.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's like their one thing they want to be good at.
And they sure are. He's gotten like 3 poles this year.
Yeah, he's definitely got a fast car.
He just can't freaking finish a race in a good position. So, yeah, Denny started on the pole, led quite a few laps, and then him and Larson went back and forth for a while, like the first stage and a half.
Truex was up there.
Truex had a very, very fast car. And then Harvick led a little bit, which he ended up having some engine issues, or a transmission. That's what it was. His transmission just got shot to crap. So he got pushed back to the garage. And then what else, I guess? Eric Jones had a pretty good race. He was up in the top 5, top 10 all day, but so was Matt Dibenedetto.
Mm-hmm. He was in top 10 the whole race.
Yeah, almost the entire race. I think there was he didn't finish stage 2 in the top 10. He finished stage 1 in the top 10, I think in like 6th or 5th, but stage 2 he did not finish in the top 10. But I think that was because the only reason Kurt Busch even won that stage was because of pit stops. Right. Pit stops had happened like right before that. So the top 10 in stage at the end of stage 2 did not look like it should have. I guess if the end of stage would have happened 20 laps later, it wouldn't have looked like that. So, but yeah. I mean, great race from Denny Hamlin. And he even said right when he got out of the car and got interviewed on the track, he's like, "I am so sorry."
I've never seen that
to Matt
before.
Dibenedetto. I've never seen it either, because it's like so there's a lot of guys in NASCAR obviously that I don't really care for. There's a lot of guys that I like and I respect. Then there's guys that I just love. Denny Hamlin's one of those guys that I respect, but I don't exactly care for too much because I know he's a baby. which they can all be babies, but that took a lot to do that kind of thing. Like to say, look, I know I won, because at the end of the day, he's thinking probably, I still won the race. I'm still going to get paid. I'm still doing all this stuff, but I'm going to give Matt a little bit of a moment here, And the minute Matt everyone was waiting for Matt to be on the Jumbotron and get interviewed.
No one cared that Denny was talking.
The minute they started talking about the next, they interviewed Denny first, obviously. And then I want to say they interviewed Chase Elliott.
They did.
They interviewed Chase Elliott next, who finished was it third? He finished third. So he finished third. They interviewed him. And then as soon as they started talking, the heartbreak story of the night, everyone knew exactly what that meant. Yeah. So everyone just started going bonkers. I mean, it was so loud. I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
I almost cried.
Yeah, it was so loud. And we're all yelling and screaming. So he gets on the screen. He doesn't even say anything. He's trying to say something, but he can't because he's so emotional because all the love and support he's getting from all these fans.
Like the videos don't do it justice.
No, they do not. You can't really hear much at all in the videos. You have to look at actual video, and I should have recorded it. Because I knew that was going to happen, and I should have recorded the whole thing on my phone, but I didn't. So I'm sure there's videos out there that you can find that people are have the whole thing. So, but yeah, it was just absolutely amazing, and that's what sports are about. That's what NASCAR is about. Because this guy literally on Wednesday or Tuesday had gotten told that he's not going to be driving for Bob Levine next year, or Levine, whatever you say his name. He's not going to be driving for him next year. So basically, you better kick it in the last 12 races or 13 races because you need to find a ride next year. And I think that as long as he stays fairly consistent, top 15, top 20, I think he'll find a ride after that performance. Really almost based on that performance alone.
Denny Hamlin, in not the interview, but at the
later on,
to Petty and all them, he's like, if no one picks him up, these owners are a bunch of idiots.
Yes.
So
because he's only 28 years old.
Yeah, he doesn't look 28.
No, he doesn't look 28 at all. He looks a lot older. But he's 28 years old, so he's very young. He's literally 10 years younger than Hamlin. Because I looked that up earlier. Because he's like, I looked up to Hamlin. Or, I've watched him as a kid, and I'm like, how much? You're not that much younger than him. Sure enough, he's 10 years younger. And then he started at 21, 22 years old. So
maybe it's because he's just such a big dude.
Yeah, that's probably right. But he's got the personality to be a superstar. He's got the skill to be a superstar. I mean, he's just got it all, man. And now he just gained a crap ton of fans from that. Oh, yeah. Me for one of them. I'm definitely. I mean,
I was looking up his shirts and stuff.
Yeah,
yesterday.
Same. I was too, but I'm not going to buy one just because I know he's not going to be racing that car next year. So there's no point, But yeah, I just maybe something like that says Italian Stallion on it or something like that. Maybe that. But yeah, I mean, he's been doing really well this year, and I can't commend that dude enough because he's coming from a small market team, which, as you all know, if you know anything about NASCAR, small market teams generally stay
sucking, either
20th or farther back. They just stay crappy.
And even big names that go to small teams suck most of the time.
Yeah, like Clint Boyer, he's pretty good now. But back when he raced for Michael Waltrip Racing, and the next year he went to, I can't remember what the other team he was, but it was a 1-year deal because basically what happened was Michael Waltrip Racing shut down, but Clint Boyer's contract said wherever Michael Waltrip Racing goes, you go. So someone bought Michael Waltrip Racing, so that meant Clint Boyer had to race for them that next year, and that was a terrible year. I mean, terrible year. And so, and he's obviously a good race car driver, but that's another thing I want to talk about later is Clint Boyer. But yeah, I just, if you get big guys that go to small market teams like that, they generally don't do that well.
Casey Kane,
yeah,
Matt
Casey
Kenseth.
Kane, yeah, Casey Kane was in the car, which I think Casey Kane, I've kind of come to say that Casey Kane is either overrated. I still love him, but if Casey Kane was, I think he was either overrated or Matt Dibenedetto was just very underrated. So, I mean, I don't know. But yeah, Matt D, great run. And then great post-race interviews. I still, like I said, I got chills still because I can't get that out, that video playing out of my head of him getting up on the Jumbotron. He couldn't even say it. And the girl that was interviewing was like, we're going to give you a minute. And he's like, thanks. And you could tell his voice was cracking the whole time because he was trying to fight back tears and emotion and everything. It was just one of the best moments, I think, in NASCAR this year so far.
He's hungry, for sure.
Yes, he is. He's definitely hungry, and I think he'll eat soon enough. So, but yeah, so going over this, talking about Matt D and his success this year, he's gotten 3 top 5s, which doesn't set the world on fire, but still for that small team, 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s, and 13 top 20s. So we're 20. How many races is that? 20.
No idea.
Because how many races total at 36?
I think so. Yeah,
So
36, 38, something like that.
So we're at race 22 right now, 20, 21, 22 right now, and he's gotten half of them have been top 20s basically. So I mean that's pretty good. But most of the top 20s are like 16th, 17th. That aren't including the top 10, top 5s, but they're like 16th, 15th, all that kind of stuff. So it's like he's still placing top 15 most of the time, or low, or I guess mid to low teens. But he can only do so much that the car can do, or he can only do as much as the car will let him do. So. And
he had Mike Wheeler, Denny's old crew
chief.
Yeah,
exactly. So
that was another big deal for Denny.
Yeah, he was like, man, I hate that for those guys and wheels. That's what they call them, I guess.
I did like how Denny was like, look, I can't just let someone win. He's like, I got to give 110%.
He's like, because obviously everyone on every race team works extremely hard. So if Denny would have kind of let Matt win, first off, that'd have been really poor for the sport, because it's like you can't have that charity kind of mentality.
Matt probably would have hated it.
Yeah, Matt would have hated it. Guarantee it. And then the Mike Wheeler would have hated it. I mean, everyone would have hated it. And you can't do that to a team that, works so hard, because Denny said exactly like you just said. I mean, everyone works hard. So Denny just pointed out that his team has worked just as hard, and they deserve that win. But he just hated that he had to beat Matt Dibenedetto. Yeah. If it had been like Kyle Busch, he'd have been like, to hell with him, like, right. Screw him, I'm winning. It wouldn't have been a storyline at all. So, it was just, it sucks. But, so going back to Matt Dibenedetto leaving the 95 team, I've heard that it's either going to be Eric Jones or Christopher Bell. They're going to be driving that car next year.
You think Jones?
That's what they said. Either
wow.
Eric Jones, yeah, because they may want to shift. Because, well, first off, Toyota and Joe Gibbs has put a lot of money into Christopher Bell and what's his face, Eric Jones. But so basically, it's just trying to figure out where they want those two to land. But I think Eric Jones has kind of cemented his spot in the 20 car now, because he had a great run too. He just caught the wall at the end, but he's had a great year. So I think they'll keep him in the 20 car.
And then I think Bell's a stud, though.
He is. And I think they're going to move him to the 95, because I think the 95 is, because it's basically, it's funded by Joe Gibbs, essentially. It's a fourth Joe Gibbs car, or a fifth Joe Gibbs car, essentially. But it's just obviously not the 20, the 19, the 11, or the 18. So, it's still a good car, though. And like you said, Christopher Bell is a stud. He's going to be something really, really special. So I think, I think he'll be fine. But the reason they're moving those guys in there is because those guys bring a lot of money with them as far as sponsorships. Because Matt Dibenedetto, yes, he has sponsors, but he does not have the financial backing that a Christopher Bell or an Eric Jones has. So, look, Bob Levine Racing cannot support a driver that has the minimal financial backing, whereas Christopher Bell, like I said, is going to bring a lot of money in with him. So they don't have to, it's not as much of a financial burden on them to support this race car driver. So like Matt Dibenedetto is racing, it costs him, let's just say $1 million to race a race, as far as like gear, equipment, the car, all that stuff. But and I'd say about 60% is coming out of Bob Levine's pocket. Whereas if Christopher Bell comes in there, he has so many sponsors and so much money as far as sponsorship goes that it's only going to cost Bob Levine 25% to run him out of his pocket. So it's like it's a business.
Yeah.
And talking about the business, I actually have a little soundbite from what Matt Dibenedetto, he went on the NASCAR Sirius XM like radio show. I guess it's on Channel 90 on Sirius XM radio, and he basically said, that all the heat that Bob Levine is taking in the race team and everything,
for getting rid of him.
Don't stop talking like that, because this is a business move. It's not a personal move. This is nothing personal. So I'm gonna go ahead and play that for us.
The best way I can give everyone and the fans kind of the clearest picture of it all is right on here right now. Is Bob Levine and his wife Sharon and I are friends and will always be friends. And so, I think if they could keep me in the race car and have me as their driver, I think they would. And that's what he said. They don't want me to not be able to drive for them. But this sport costs a lot of money, and it's going through a lot of change. And, Bob Levine has invested, at the end of the day, he's put millions of dollars of his own money into me driving the race car. So I do definitely want everyone to make sure they look at it the same way as me, of being appreciative of that and his family for investing that and trusting in me to drive this car and giving me the opportunity. And that's the way I'll always look at it. And it's just a situation of where, that's a lot of money for someone to be spending, and they have another option that will be much easier on them financially to run next year and keep the team going on, up the ladder, climbing the ladder and keep growing the team versus, having to look at different options or shrink, or, that's a lot of money to keep on dumping in and investing. So that's the whole, Bob could probably tell even better, but, I just want everybody to make sure that they are very appreciative of them. It's very easy for him to be, I just hate seeing him take a lot of heat because they're such good people, and they do love me and believe in me, and they feel the same way as fans do, of wanting me to keep on driving that race car. But they're great people, and they definitely don't deserve to be taking any heat. If anything, they need gratitude.
I mean, that's kind of tells you right there the kind of person Matt is. I mean, yeah, you could always say that, everyone has to say that kind of thing. They have to praise their team owners and stuff like that, but he doesn't have to do that. He could be pissed off because he doesn't have a ride next year, and his ride is not guaranteed. You think it would be after this weekend, but it's not guaranteed. It's not. So I just think that it was really, really big of him to do that. So I can't commend him enough for that. And because at first I'm like, why are they letting him go? I didn't understand the sponsorship thing, because I'm like, why in the world would you let this guy go?
Yeah, it's the best your team's done in forever.
Yeah, he's been doing fantastic this year. And yeah, he's only sitting 22nd in the points, something like that. He's pretty far back there because he's had some inconsistency in the beginning of the year, but he has turned it on this summer. I mean, he has absolutely turned it on. So why are you getting rid of him? But now that I understand and I've heard everything, I completely get that it's all about finances. It's all about money. I've kind of expected that it's, NASCAR, it's a money. I mean, any sport like that, it's money. Formula One, it's all money. So you let the person you're going to let drive is going to be the person that brings in the most money. So the fact that a guy like Christopher Bell can, like I said, bring a bunch of sponsorship money with him, at least way more than Matt Dibenedetto can, it's just kind of a no-brainer. But like I said, I think he'll get picked up by someone, because now not only is he going to be able to be picked up by someone, but sponsors are going to start picking him up now, because everyone realizes how much everyone loves Matt Dibenedetto.
To prove more that it's all about the money, you can take Matt, who's talented but doesn't have the sponsors and the money, and he's not getting a ride next year as of right now. Mm-hmm. And then you can take, no offense again, these very attractive women who are not very good. Mm-hmm. They prove that. It's not, those are facts.
Yep.
And they have all the sponsors in the world because of who they are,
what they look like.
Yeah, they still have a ride.
Yeah. So you could take Matt Dibenedetto, stick him in the 3 car instead of Austin Dillon, and I guarantee that car would be a playoff car.
But those are deep pockets that he's not getting in.
Exactly. And that's another reason. There's no way he's going to take over the grandson of the team owner's car.
Yeah, Jared was asking me, we were at the haulers and stuff, and he was like, who's that? And the people on the trailers. And I was like, that's Austin Dillon, and that's Ty Dillon. I was like, told him who they're, how they got into the sport and everything. He's like, so they're grandfathered in? I was like, literally grandfathered in.
They were literally grandfathered in. The grandfather said, I want my grandson's racing. So it's just, and I was actually watching this video last night on YouTube about how, I think it was just like the biggest scams and the dirtiest sponsors and all this other stuff, like how people, it's all for the money. They just try to scam people out of money. Well, apparently this guy bought his son. He basically had a Ponzi scheme where he got a bunch of money and bought his son's ride in the Xfinity Series for like Kyle Busch Motorsports and Brad Keselowski Racing and all that stuff. Paid a bunch of money for his son to drive, and his son was actually pretty decent, but his dad illegally got all that money for him to drive, so his dad got sentenced to 10 years in prison.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, is he the best dad ever, or is he the worst dad ever, because he got in trouble for that?
The sacrifice.
Yeah, the sacrifice for his son. But, you just see so many people coming in with silver spoons, and it's just like,
it makes you wonder who's out there,
that could actually drive, that just needs a chance.
Yeah.
Because that's how it was back in the day. I mean, yeah, you could use money back in the day. There's some guys that brought money with them, but like Earnhart came from nothing. Like Dale Earnhart,
just like they've said, the average age of getting into the sport is so young now. Like, it's clear that it's from money. They didn't have enough time in their life to prove anything. So, I mean, it's no longer coming into the sport at 30 or 40 or whatever. You know, it's 16. There was a 16-year-old that raced in the ARCA race and then went into the truck series at Bristol when we watched. He did pretty well. He got wrecked, but he's 16 years old.
Yeah, he was 16. He won the Canaan race or whatever it was the night before, or that earlier.
The same night,
the same night of the truck race. We actually didn't get to go to that. Haley Deegan was racing. I kind of wanted to go to it, but everyone else didn't want to, so I was like, that's not a big deal, whatever. Because Haley Deegan will be eventually racing, I'm sure, in the truck/Xfinity, because she's actually kind of a stud. So it'll be cool to see her come up there. But, yes, the kid that won, Chris Myers, I think was his name or something like that.
I can't remember. Yeah, that sounds right.
He won the Canaan race and then literally an hour later suited up for a truck race and did extremely well, ran the top 10 all day, and then got wrecked at the end. He got tapped on the left rear, tried to correct it, and just shot straight to the fence and smoked the wall.
What number was he? Do you remember?
21.
Well, there was another guy. I don't know if they were talking about him or not, but it was his first Bristol ever. And he ran top, it was 51, whoever 51 was. He ran like top 3 almost all night.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know who you're talking about, though.
Yeah.
Because he was the one that was constantly battling back and forth with, like, it might have been 45. Was it 45?
Yeah, it was, I think Ross was 45.
Ross Chastain, who liked their Instagram post, by the way.
Yeah, that's true.
The Melon Man. Going back to Matt Dibenedetto, I think he will definitely get picked up for a ride next year. I really hope it's somewhere. And I was looking yesterday at some of the, some of the drivers next year that could be kicked out of the ride. And I'd really like to see him in Stewart-Haas equipment, but I don't think they're going to. I mean, Tony Stewart is a businessman too, but so he may let go of Boyer if Boyer doesn't make the playoffs this year. He may let go of him, but I don't see that happening really. Maybe another year for Boyer just to.
You think they'd get rid of Boyer before Suarez?
Well, Suarez is only a first year into it, and he's in the playoffs right now. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know that you could do that. I don't think Tony would do that. But then again, he may take. Well, just because at some point you have to still be a businessman and say, I could take a fairly proven veteran, which we'll go ahead and get onto that topic now, but a fairly proven veteran in Clint Boyer or a promising rookie or a promising young guy in Daniel Suarez. Obviously, you're not going to have to pay Daniel Suarez near as much, and he's the only guy that's racing from Mexico, so he's probably got a huge following in Mexico.
Say, with his attitude and his diversity,
yes.
I mean, he's probably bringing in more.
He's probably the best option.
But Clint Boyer's like the most popular driver besides
He
Case.
is one of the he is absolutely one of the most popular drivers. However, getting on the topic of Clint Boyer, he has really nothing to show for it. Nothing. He's won a handful of races in his career, and he's missed the playoffs now. If he misses the playoffs this year, he'll miss the playoffs 2 out of his 3 years with Stewart-Haas. How can you miss the playoffs at Stewart-Haas equipment? Kevin Harvick's made it, and he's won a championship.
Danica did it every year, buddy.
Yeah, you're right. But again, that's Danica. But you can't, I just don't understand how. That's just kind of another thing. We're going to get on another topic talking about another person later, Ryan Newman. But at what point is he not doing good enough? Like, yes, he's got the stuff, but it's like he keeps making mistakes and keep making the silly decisions, and he keeps doing dumb things to get his car wrecked or to take him out of contention. And it's like, at what point, is enough essentially? So, I mean, I don't know. I just think he needs
not all that.
He needs to do better. He needs to do better. He needs to make the playoffs and maybe make it to the Elite Eight or the whatever the 8 round of 8. He basically needs to make it to the round of 8 in order for me to say, okay, he needs another year because he's got it going now. But I don't think it's going to happen. Because I think when he goes to where they at this week, Darlington.
Yep.
I think if he goes to he's going to go to Darlington and try too hard. And Darlington's a very hard track, very dangerous track, very fast track. So I think he's going to go there and he's going to wreck again. Then he's going to go into Indy in a must win, and someone else is going to beat him, and he's just not going to he's not going to get it. So he's not going to get it done. But I think there's quite a few options you could open for Matt Dibenedetto. I really wish that Austin Dillon wasn't a grandson of Richard Childress, because he would be out of NASCAR already, at least out of the Premier Cup Series. Mm-hmm. So
him and Ty both.
Yeah, him and Ty both most likely. But I could see him going somewhere like JT Daugherty Racing or somewhere smaller like that. So
who's Ty race for?
Shoot.
Because it ain't his granddad.
No, it ain't. I can't remember who it is. But, yeah, I don't know. Either way, he's not going to get that team any wins unless it's a rain win.
True.
So getting back on the topic of people that aren't doing what they should be doing, Ryan Newman is averaging like 14, position 14 point something or other this year. So he's solidly averaging the top 15. However, I can't remember the last time he won, and he didn't make the playoffs last year. He hasn't made it since that season where he literally...
Did he win at Phoenix like 4 years ago?
Probably something like that. But I know the year Kevin Harvick won the championship, what's his face? Ryan Newman literally put Kyle Larson in the wall in order to make the playoffs and kick Gordon out.
Yeah.
Like literally just smoked him and dumped him basically so he could get that one extra position to beat Gordon out for the final spot, which I understand, but that's shady. I don't like that really. But I can't say that I wouldn't do the same thing in the situation because I don't know what I would do in that situation. If my crew chief is like, dude, all you need to do is pass this one person, I probably would have given him the bumper. But the only reason I bring that up, is because when Matt Dibenedetto was trying to get away from Denny Hamlin this past weekend, he got tangled a little bit with Ryan Newman because Ryan was racing him really hard. They were coming up. Ryan Newman was lap traffic. Ryan Newman was trying not to get lapped, and they were coming up on some slower lap traffic. So Ryan Newman cut up in front of Dibenedetto to try to get around this low car on the low side, and he caught Matt Dibenedetto's left front quarter panel, which I think Matt said he got really tight. As soon as that happened, he got super tight, and that's what let Denny catch him. So a lot of people have been saying that Ryan Newman cost Dibenedetto the win.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he held him up.
He did.
And he's known for that, too.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I'm racing for the win,
Yeah,
too.
exactly. He's like, I'm racing for my playoff life because he's just barely inside the bubble. And I'm like, dude, you're only losing a lap. You're not losing a position.
Yeah.
Get over it. Like, that's what I think. I'm like, dude, get the hell out of the way.
And Johnson's like 1,000 laps down. Like,
Yeah.
Just chill out.
Get out of the way. That's all I got to say is about that. Just get out of the way. I don't really care for Newman too much anymore because of that kind of stuff. Like, yes, you should race hard no matter what. But at some point, if you're getting lapped, let him go. Let the leaders go. You do not want, because he probably, and that's the kind of, I feel like that's the kind of person he is. He doesn't feel bad about what he did to Matt Dibenedetto. No. Maybe he does. I hope he does, because I think he could have costed Matt the race.
Well, he did the same thing to Chase at, I almost want to say that was Phoenix. When he got, where was that? He got passed, but Newman held him up, and that's when Gordon went to the pits and was like, hey, buddy, thanks for the help. And Newman was like, what are you talking about? Like, got all up in his face and stuff, and Gordon's like, I'm just saying, thanks for the help, man. Like you should have got out of the way. You're racing for, 20th. Get out of the way,
Yeah,
and he didn't.
Yeah.
That's when he said, I'm racing for the playoffs, too.
Yeah, I get it. He's racing hard the whole time, but still, get the hell out of the way. You're not losing another position. You're only losing a lap. You're not getting passed by anybody that's going to take the position away from you. So just move over and stop acting like a jackass. So, yeah, it's annoying, and I hate that. But now that I'm off my soapbox here, we can go back into talking about different things. So, like I said, Ryan Newman, at what point he's solidly finishing on the top 15, but he hasn't won a race in God knows how long.
It's been 2 years, actually. It was Phoenix, so pretty recent.
Okay, well, still though. Before that, his races have been spread out so much. Like, he won a lot of races when he was younger, like in his first probably 5 years in the Cup, but he has not been doing anything since then. He's made the Final Four one time, or the Championship Four one time, and he didn't even win a race that entire year. But he had a higher average finish than Kevin Harvick, who ended up winning the championship. So it's like he's been riding that train for a long time, but at some point, you need race wins. A team needs wins, sponsors need wins, and he's not doing that for him. He's not. So at what point is enough, and what point would you kick him out of the car? If you're who's Roush? If you're Roush Fenway right now, what do you say? Do you say, I'm gonna keep going because I like your finishing, I like when you finish 14th every freaking week, or do you say, look, I need freaking race wins, man?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure, I know every team wants to win, but I'm sure there's some teams that know where they stand as far as they are, like where they're at in the sport. So maybe 15th, making the playoffs is their goal.
Roush, yeah, because Roush hasn't been good since Matt Kenseth back in like the 2008s, 2009s, maybe. Greg Biffle,
The Biff.
Those guys have not been good. Or when Carl Edwards was with them, they haven't been good since then, really. So I mean, yes, they've been kind of left in the dust because you got Haas, Hendrick, and Gibbs and Penske that are clearly the top 4 teams. I mean, those guys are head and shoulders above the rest of the field. Then you got your middle of the pack teams, which I think is only solely occupied by probably Roush. Then you got your lower pack teams, which are probably like, the
rest.
Well, I guess Chip Ganassi. I think Chip Ganassi could be middle tier because they're not exactly a powerhouse. Although I think putting Kurt Busch in that car has been the best decision that French or that team has ever made. Because they got Kyle Larson, who's a great find, but that dude he can still be kind of inconsistent because he likes to run the high line on a lot of tracks and he'll hit the wall and then boom, you're screwed because you have a tire rub the rest of the race. So, but putting a veteran like Kurt Busch in that car, who is still a very good race car driver, who knows how not to push it. Kyle Larson pushes it, and that's why usually he hits the wall because he's trying to get every inch he can out of the car, which is good. But at some point, you need to say, okay, look, a fourth place finish now is better than a 20th place finish because I cut a tire. And Kyle Larson will cut the tire to try to get first, whereas Kurt Busch will just ride in fourth and say fourth place is good enough. So having a guy like that in that team is very, very good. So, but yeah, Roush, they have not been on a top tier team since way back. So it's been probably close to 8 to 10 years since they were really a relevant team. So actually, I think that might be who Ty Dillon races for. Maybe it might.
What,
be.
Roush?
Yeah, it might be.
I don't think it's Roush.
I don't know who it is, but I can't remember. We'll have to look that up real quick. But so I'll go over the standings real quick. The Cup standings, and we'll tell you who's in right now in the playoffs and who's not. So obviously, you got Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex, Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott, Kurt Busch, and Alex Bowman have all won races. Jermaine, okay, a low tier team. So all those guys I just said, those 9 guys, have all won a race now this year. So they are automatically in. Then you got Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, William Byron, Eric Almirola, Eric Jones, Ryan Newman, and Daniel Suarez, rounding out the top 16. Now, the first couple that are out, I'll do the first 5 that are left out right now are Clint Bowyer, Jimmy Johnson, Paul Menard, Chris Buescher, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And then just for shits and giggles, Matt Dibenedetto's in 22nd right behind them. I don't think he's not going to be able to catch him, though, unless he wins these next 2 races or into the next race. But yeah, first 3 guys out of the playoffs. Clint Bowyer, Jimmy Johnson, Paul Menard. Clint Bowyer, he's a good race car driver. I think he just makes mistakes and just does dumb stuff to get his car wrecked. I can remember at least 2 or 3 times this year where he's wrecked because he thought he was clear but he has not been clear. Yeah. So that's perfect example right now. Either listen to your spotter or get a new spotter because it's either Clint's fault or it's the spotter's fault. One of them has to get their shit together, basically. So I think going to Jimmy Johnson, that dude, I think he's just right there. Jimmy's like, he's there. He just, it's not the 7 times Jimmy Johnson we're used to.
He's had some bad luck, though.
He has. Like this past week, I think he ran fairly solid at Bristol. He just got that nose of someone's car. I can't remember whose car it was, but he got the nose of someone's car that ripped the whole passenger side of his car off, basically, and pulled foam out of his car, which is a rule for NASCAR. You have to have that foam in the car. It's a rule. So he had to go down to pit lane and I think get foam pushed in there and then basically tape over it. So that cost him a lot.
I think the last couple races he's ran well. It's just he's had someone wreck him.
Yeah.
Your boy Blaney.
Yeah. Well, that happens.
I had to agree to disagree.
Yeah. I didn't even actually see that. I don't know what happened. I think it was just going through that little trial or that, because that was at the Glen, wasn't it? Yeah. They're just going, Blaney probably had the position and just didn't give up any ground. If not, moved into him a little bit. Johnson tried to cut down the turn and didn't realize he was there or something. I don't know. I'm sure they're both at fault to an extent. But Paul Menard in 19th. That is another guy who's been silver spoon fed. The only reason he's racing is because of his last name and the money that Menards brings in. But this is another question I posed to you, Ken. At what point, I have it written down somewhere. Is Paul Menard worth his family's money? Basically, that's what my question is.
No, but to them he is.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. If you're the team owner, and let's say you have a budget of your team, because he's a Penske, he's races for Wood Brothers, but he's got a bunch of Penske equipment. So he's kind of like the fifth Penske guy or fourth Penske guy or whatever. So let's say that team, Wood Brothers team, gets a budget of $100 million to spend per year. Let's say the Menard family provides half of it. Now, they could probably find other sponsors to make up that money, but it's a lot of sponsors you have to find because $50 million is a lot of freaking money. But if you kick Paul Menard out, you run the risk of losing Menards as a sponsor and have to come up with that $50 million. So do you think that'd be worth it as a team owner? Or do you suffer that Paul Menard only has, let's see, he has no top 5s and 3 top 10s this year. Everything else is trash.
Again, I think it's just what you expect from the reality of what your team can actually do. So, I mean, if they're not going to win. They know they're not going to win, more than likely. Well, Blaney got him a win.
Yeah, Blaney got him a win, yeah.
I'm just saying, if they're used to that and that's what they're expected to get, then maybe. But, I mean, maybe they just depend on him too much for that money. You know what I mean? They don't want to take that gamble.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly right. I mean, as probably a businessman should, he should keep him in the car. Because, I mean, he's getting older. He probably won't be in the car a whole hell of a lot longer. But my gut wants to say, no, kick him out of the car. Find a young gun that's bringing in money. I mean, try to go swoop Christopher Bell off, from someone. Give, a guy like Ross Chastain, who's a pretty good race car driver, but the car he drove in the other night was just, no sponsors, nothing. I mean, he had a sponsor, but it was just, a super low, hey, a bunch of buddies got this race car together. Let's go race with the Cup guys. But, I mean, I think there's so many other options you could have, to bring him into it. And there's got to be other guys that have the money to do it out there.
But, I mean, if you're still bringing home paychecks from that might be all they care about.
Yeah, that's true.
I would be
fine
with being not terrible, but if I'm making good money, middle of the pack, then I'm going to be okay with what I got.
But see, with me, is the way I think of it is I want to win.
Well, yeah,
I want to win. And obviously I'm not in their shoes, so maybe if I got to that point and I was in their shoes, I'd think, okay, we don't have to win. We just got to get top 15 every race, and we're good. We're making plenty of money,
Let's Newman this thing out.
Yeah, seriously. But I don't see. I just think I would want to win too much, and I'd try to find that guy that's going to get me some wins. So Austin Cindric, I can see him because he's a Penske driver right now. He's on his way up. I can see him then moving him to the 21 car for Wood Brother, and him doing pretty darn good.
That's a 22, ain't it?
22, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, or moving Justin Allgaier up. He's had his chance a couple times, but he was in crap equipment. He wasn't in that great of equipment, so he didn't really do that well. But there's plenty of options, I feel like, for guys to do something good, but because Menard has the Menard last name and his family brings in a crap ton of money, that is, I think, the sole reason he's in that car. I think that's literally the only reason. And it sucks, but you can say that about, I'd say, probably 10 drivers, at least 10 drivers, that they're either their name or the money they bring in.
Yeah.
Which the money, you have to bring in some money to an extent, but a guy like Dibenedetto, again, can't bring in money right now, but because of this year, he's going to be bringing in a shit ton of money next year, guarantee it, from sponsors and stuff. So, This
is random, but where is AJ at?
Allmendinger?
Yeah, he was supposed to be a commentator for NBC, I thought. I haven't seen him once.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's where he was going.
Yeah, I know he does the NASCAR America thing, NBC NASCAR America.
Maybe just as a commentator. I don't know. But, yeah, so going back to the points real quick. Like I said, first 3 out, Clint Bowyer, Jimmy Johnson, Paul Menard. Who do you think is going to get in? And who do you think is going to be left out? What's Jimmy back, 20-something points?
Jimmy is back, let's see, was it at 18? No. Oh my gosh, there's so many columns here. Oh, there it is. Well, I'm going to have to get to the playoffs thing. But
I think I said Jimmy'd make the playoffs at the beginning of the year, so I'll just go with Jimmy. It's probably not going to happen at all, but
yeah,
it might stay the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, could. Very well could. I just here we go. Okay, so Clint Boyer is back 2 points from Daniel Suarez. Jimmy Johnson is back 26 points.
Yeah.
So Jimmy Johnson's coming up on you-must-win territory here. And behind him, Paul Menard's 71 points. I think he's pretty well shot. He's done. He's absolutely done unless he wins. Or unless, like, two of these guys that are in 14th through...
Crash out lap
or
one.
actually, really only 15th through 16th. Yeah, just crash and burn hardcore. And he does really well. So Jimmy Johnson still has a chance, but he has to do extremely well this week. And he has to... I think he needs at least one of those other guys to do, like, middle of the pack, which is a very good option or very good possibility with Ryan Newman. Well, I guess he's been consistently finishing, so maybe not him. But a younger guy like Eric Jones and Daniel Suarez wrecking out. And if Jimmy Johnson can win or just get top 5, that'd be good for him. But yeah, Paul Menard back, they're done. But Clint Boyer, very much still alive. I don't think he'll get it done. I just think he'll be kicked out. So for me, I think how the playoffs are right now, I think that's how they're going to be.
You don't think anyone's getting in?
Nope, no one's getting in or no one's getting left back out. That's how they are right now is how it's going to be.
All right.
Because, like I said, I think Clint Boyer will cave because he doesn't seem like a guy that can handle the pressure. And then Jimmy Johnson, he'll try his best, but I don't think you can get Eric Jones or Ryan Newman or Daniel Suarez to screw up that bad.
I think Jimmy's getting in.
Yeah. I think the only way Jimmy gets in, if he does, is by a win. Put it that way. But
I also said Jimmy would get a win this year, so
you need that.
yeah, I need that.
Yep.
Jimmy needs that.
Yep. So, okay, well, who do you think is going to win the championship?
I'm going to go with Hamlin.
Yeah, I think it's his year. I would agree with that.
Because he's called it. I mean, he's had a few coulda wins, this year too, and he's already won 4. And he said he's going to win 5 this year at least. So,
as I told you earlier, we were talking about fantasy. I've played Hamlin almost I have one use with Hamlin left. And I think every time I've played him, he's not won or he's been really crappy. But the times I don't play him, he wins. And what happened Saturday night, I took him out, left Busch in. Sure enough, he wins. So
that sucks.
You're welcome, Denny. You're welcome. I still won our fantasy, which we can go over that real quick. But I whooped butt in our fantasy this week.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm done for the year, man.
But, yeah, I think Hamlin has a very, very, very good shot at winning the championship. I think Joey Logano could repeat. He's been real quiet as of late, but it's Logano. He's really good in the playoffs.
That'd be really bad for the sport.
Yeah. Like Kyle Busch, it's Kyle Busch. Martin Truex Jr. is having a great year. It's a great first year in that Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota. Then Kevin Harvick, who's struggled all but the last 2 months. He's been struggling. So, I mean, he's still a contender, obviously. Brad Kay, Chase Elliott. I really want to see Chase Elliott make some big noise in these playoffs. I would love to see him win it. But because as of right now, the guy I'm pulling for in the playoffs is Blaney, obviously. But I still don't think Blaney just has that killer instinct yet. Like Chase Elliott, he has it. You can just see it that he has it. Whereas Blaney, I don't think he exactly has it just yet. So he either needs to get it or I'm jumping ship.
Really?
No, I'm kidding. But no, I think Blaney, he's definitely a great race car driver, but I think he hasn't figured it out 100% yet. So yeah, I hope he figures it out pretty soon because he's going to need to for the playoffs. Otherwise, he's going to find himself sitting on his couch pretty quick. Well, not really sitting on the couch, but you know what I mean, pretty quick. So yeah, that's what I think. I agree with you. We both think Denny Hamlin can easily win the championship this year. Well, not easily, but he can win the championship this year.
I think there's a lot of people that could easily win it. But
another thing about fantasy is this week so normally when I set our Bristol boys lineup for our group, I usually just transfer that lineup to our Turn2Tailgaters league, and I didn't this week. Or if I did, even if I did, I was 2 drivers under. There was 2 drivers that we had exhausted all of our uses, and we didn't have them, so it didn't fill in another driver for us. So I kind of screwed us, and now there's no way we're gonna win. But I think Justin's to lose. So he's gonna get a prize, I'm sure, this year if he wins it officially. But now we're in 4th. Instead, we went from 2nd to 4th because we lost probably 100 points, well, probably close to 80 points just because we didn't have 2 driver spots filled. So, might be.
Just cost us championship.
Just cost us championship. No big deal. But yeah, it's so. I want to talk about this real quick. We talked about it a little bit, Ken, before we started the episode. But there was a pretty gnarly crash at Pocono for the IndyCar series, and as you know, Pocono is a huge track. Indy cars go very fast.
It's like the most dangerous track.
It is very, very, very dangerous, especially with the speeds that these Indy cars are going, 220, easy. So, do you think the cars are moving too fast?
No.
And I agree.
I mean, they are moving too fast, but that's the point of the sport.
So, I mean, the only reason I bring this up is because I saw a post on Instagram. It was like a still frame shot of this car hitting the catch fence and like basically exploding. Everyone was fine. I think everyone got out okay, at least they're living. They may have had some injuries, I don't know. I didn't look into it too much, but I know it was a pretty gnarly crash. But is a still frame shot of this crash happening, and the caption said, "I'm so sick and tired of this. The speeds are they need to bring the speeds down, blah, 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 or not go to Pocono." And I'm like, just don't go to Pocono.
Yeah, I was going to say, Pocono is, I could agree with that. That's an insanely like dangerous track.
Yeah.
Like it's a triangle. You're hitting a 90-degree almost angle every single time you turn it.
So I do not think speeds are too fast because, like you said, as morbid as it is to say, drivers get into the sport knowing they're going to be driving extremely fast and they could easily die at any moment. That's kind of the rush that they get, and that's kind of why they do it, because it's like that on edge, that feeling like they're literally gladiators. They're literally like ready to die, essentially. You know, it's like, but they're not going to say, well, I think we should only go 125 mile an hour around Daytona because I don't want to hit the wall and die. So, you know, now if you say that, you're going to be laughed at and kicked out of NASCAR.
Pretty much.
So I think the speeds that we have are great. If we could go faster, cool, whatever. But obviously the cars, I think the actual stock cars can only handle so much. And then the Indy cars, they can only handle so much too. And I think that's where they're at right now. But no, you should definitely not slow the speeds down. Like I said, go to another track. Go to Richmond or somewhere smaller that you can actually have a little bit of racing going on.
Improve the safety, but don't take the entertainment out of it.
Right, yeah. And like Formula One, they now have those halos around their cars.
Yeah, those are wicked looking.
Yeah, those are kind of funky looking, but I mean, it's something to protect the driver because if a guy died a handful of years back by taking a tire off the dome, or a piece of a car hit him in the head. Obviously, he had his helmet on, but it killed him.
Yep.
Just like that, snapped his neck, or just rattled his brain enough, gave him a big enough concussion to kill him. So it's like they know the risk, but there's been safety measures or safety precautions that have been taken to keep this risk down. But it's stuff still happens. It still happens, and it's going to happen. Luckily, we haven't had a fatality in NASCAR since Dale Earnhardt, but it's I really hope it never happens again. But there's no guarantee that it won't. So, yeah. But as far as IndyCar, I mean, those things are extremely fast, but those guys know getting into that car could be the last time they do that. So
those things fly a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
Fall apart.
Oh, yeah. They're meant to just fall apart. But, yes, and they get airborne really, really easy. I mean, they're open wheel. If you touch another car's wheel, you're gone. You're flying. You're flying through the air. So, Well, can you think of anything else to talk about, Kenny?
Don't punch old guys at bars.
Yeah, Conor McGregor, we're talking to you because I know you're going to listen to this.
Then you're going to come punch us.
Yeah, probably.
I'm not going to buy your whiskey now. I just want you to know that. I was a fan.
Yeah. I never tried it. I'll try it if someone else has it, but I'm not going to go buy it. Never. And Dana White, come on. Throw some stones and get rid of him. I don't care how much money he's worth. Get rid of him. You have another guy that'll come up and do the same freaking show that he's doing. So, all right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. So, thanks for tuning in. Leave some comments. Like and subscribe.
Is our pictures on Instagram?
All that stuff. Yeah, we have. I updated a lot of our Instagram and Twitter this past weekend. I need to stay on that, but I always forget about that because I'm very rarely on mine as it is. So
there might be a YouTube video.
Yeah, we're going to try to put this. We've been recording video wise, so we might try to put this on YouTube. So stay tuned for that. Just depends on how long it takes to actually load. Because I don't have the best internet. So, but yeah, other than that, I think that's about it. Ken, you got anything else?
Nope.
Good to go? All right. Send us off, Ken.
Stay feathery.
Stay feathery, everybody.